Welcome back to Growing a Deeply Rooted Business, the podcast where intentional strategy meets sustainable systems.
We're so glad you're here. I'm Jess, your systems architect and Notion obsessed strategist who truly believes that systems are self-care.
And I'm Rachel, your email marketing mastermind. I'm all about building marketing ecosystems that actually work with the intentional strategy and, you guessed it, all things email at the heart of it.
Together, we're on a mission to help women entrepreneurs like you build businesses that are both profitable and purpose-driven. We know you want success, but not at the cost of your health, relationships, or personal joy.
Exactly. And that's why every episode we're diving into intentional marketing strategies, sustainable systems, and a really good launch strategy that doesn't leave you burned out.
Whether you're refining your operations, planning your next launch, or figuring out how to make your marketing work smarter, not harder, we've got you covered.
So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's grow something deeply rooted together.
If you are still building your business like it's 2022, this episode might sting a little because the content hamster wheel is officially over. Organic reach is tanking. AI generated content is flooding the feeds everywhere, and people are just downright exhausted and distracted. But here's the good news. 2026 isn't going to be about who posts the most. It's going to be about who builds the systems that are going to truly help last and sustain their business long term.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking through our biggest predictions for content for 2026. And these are going to be the ones I think that are going to separate the businesses that are still standing from the businesses that are going to burn out at the end of the year. Because the strategies that got us here, that made people go viral in 2020, aren't going to be the strategies that get us to where we need, building assets, not chasing algorithms. And that's where we're moving here.
All right. But before we get started, we're going to do a quick energy check-in. Breathe, deep inhale, deep exhale. There's my yoga teacher coming out of me. So when you think about creating content in 2026, I want you to really ask yourself, does it feel exciting? Do you get energized by it? Or does it seem exhausting and like something you dread and just need to check off your to-do list every day? And if it feels like you're already behind or constantly behind on your content, I want you to know that you are not broken. The old playbook is, and today we're going to show you how to shift your content strategy and system so that it can feel exciting and fun and easy breezy. So Rachel, let's get into it.
Let's dive into our prediction number one, that always content era is dead. We think it is going away. So the biggest shift is that the content hamster wheel that everybody seems to be on is officially over. With organic reach down 6% to 6% on most platforms, that means 94% of your followers aren't even seeing what you're posting, which is insane. So really making sure that you're building a system so that you're not, again, one of those businesses that burn out. I think this exhaustion cycle that everybody has been on of like documenting every portion of their life and posting 5 times a day and making sure that you're reaching all of these different people so that you're feeding in the algorithm is just unsustainable. That constant like daily posting, it used to work when like the algorithm was I would say less interrupted. Now you have all these features that are trying to be pushed. And before, when Reels was a thing and like the carousels started coming out, that was the primary platform. And now you have polls, you have trial reels, and like at this point you're shouting into the void if you're trying to do what was working back then. So you're like, Rachel, what are you talking about? Let's talk about what is replacing it now. I would say a slower, more foundational marketing tactics like email and SEO, owned platforms like Substack. Like these are what's replacing that kind of like quick turn and burn type content. The new status symbol really isn't about how much you post. It's kind of going to be more about like how little you need to post in order to make a good amount of money.
Yeah, I can see it like, and it's starting to pop up. I'm starting to see workshops like pop up like I bring in 8 clients without posting on social media ever, and, like, I could say that. I really don't post on social media very consistently besides for the podcast, but for the Launch Collaborative, no, and I still get clients. So that is my flex, and it's because I have built systems, this ecosystem, this anchor content like we talked about in our last 2 episodes that really compound versus expire so that I'm doing the work once and seeing that effort pay off month over month over month.
Yeah, so we really wanna lean into longer lifespan content pieces, so, like, focus on the things that are gonna compound, like we talked in the last episode, versus the content that expires. So you want blog posts that are gonna rank month over month over month. You want podcasts that are gonna get discovered through SEO. You want email sequences that are gonna be, like, kind of an on-demand nurture for when people enter into your space. This on top of the fact that we're seeing a mass exodus from people who are on the social media content like wheel. They're ditching the like post it 100 times, the batching, all of that stuff. People are starting to realize, which is music to my ears, that if you do not own the platform, you cannot own the relationship. And at the end of the day, and we'll get into like like our following predictions, the relationship is everything.
Yeah. So that kind of segues us beautifully into prediction number 2, which trust, not attention, is going to become the growth engine of your business in 2026 and beyond. So trust is going to matter way more than attention. Audiences are already starting to like filter out any like AI content, or I even think like easy content. Like last year, we saw like the rise of the B-roll reels where you just slap something over on there. It's really easy to make. You can outsource it, but they're not getting like that personal one-on-one attention like you're getting now while we're talking to you in a podcast, or if I just do like a face to cam like speaking video. And people are really craving like the personal real attention that's intentional and not curated. One reason is because AI is just making everybody sound the same, really. No, and like I know that, yeah, it really is. And people can spot this AI generated content from a mile away. And when you're using AI content in a way that is not human first, which we did an episode on human first AI, we can do that soon. But when you're doing it in a way that's not human first, you're going to sound generic. You're not, and you're going to lose the things that differentiate yourself from your competitors. And your content just isn't going to feel human and real, and people aren't going to connect with it. So, like I said, human presence is really going to matter in 2026. Even like unpolished moments, we're seeing like kind of like the rise of private podcasts. People want to feel something and recognize like not only like the person behind the brand and not just these slop videos.
Yeah, I mean, I have an example, like a case study of this where it's like I call it like the Etsy case study where Etsy had started this like idea off of, being these homemade kind of crafty type small business audience. And then you got a lot of people like drop shipping on Etsy. And so it lost a lot of the credibility of the like, how do people like, is this a real business or is this just somebody that's kind of making like a micro Amazon, like, can I get this on Amazon essentially? So you really do want to like lean into that transparency that you are a human running this business and making sure that like whatever you're putting out, and I say this with email too, it's not in the energy of just cranking out what you can to do like stay top of mind. It's creating an experience that every time somebody interacts with your brand, you're either adding value or they're proving a little bit of a nudge closer to a trust and relationship like aspect. Like you don't want to just like crank things out just for the sake of feeding an algorithm because the algorithm isn't going to book you as a client. The people are.
Yeah. And if you go back to our episode, we really talked about like the power of anchor post over just scattered content because one like authentic, really thought out piece is going to build way more trust than just like a bunch of surface level reels. And then is just going to compound when you have your ecosystem set up correctly and they can hit those multiple different touch points. It's going to help just deepen that relationship even further, which in is going to be your competitive advantage.
Totally. So let's move into prediction number 3, which is my personal favorite because I'm loving this direction, which is businesses will become ecosystems and not just offers. I think this is going to be a big one because the smartest and most successful, and I will say most successful in the lens of sustainable, like life first businesses, aren't just going to be they have a signature course that only a fraction of their audience can participate in. It's going to be ecosystems that are building that customer lifetime value. It's building on that, buying energy that you have in your audience from multiple layers. And like the reality is that trust is hard to earn and people's budgets are like tight right now. And so when somebody finds you, you're not like essentially going to have the expectation that they're going to immediately jump into your $10,000 course, even if you have a 4-year payment plan option kind of thing. You really want them to trust you and like come to you through their many layers of the journey. And that means having offerings at those layers of the journey. And I think this is really interesting because granted, it's not just about your offer suite, it's more like layered than that. They need to be able to vibe with you on how you document your processes, how you exist in your own business, how you talk and speak about things online. And like people are going to want to subscribe to businesses the way that they subscribe to like their favorite shows off of Netflix. They need it to feel comfortable. They need it to feel that one kind of consistent thing in their life. And so that's really the important part of making sure you're building an ecosystem that integrates all levels of your business, the learning aspect, the community, your tools, your ongoing support. That is your ecosystem of like client experience. And your content feeds this. The discovery layer is what brings them in. So, what content are you sharing that's going to capture new eyeballs and new attention? That nurture layer is what's going to take them from, oh, I like this person's vibe to, oh, maybe I'll consider spending money with them. That conversion layer offers in that multiple like options that I was just talking about of whether it's a course or a membership or a discovery call or whatever that may be. And then having some type of system in the back end that really does engage them from that long term relationship part. And it's really going to be on the business to think, how can I serve this person in multiple ways over time versus saying, how do I get 100 of those people time and time again? And like, as soon as they forgive me money, like, bye. Like
Yeah.
that's the energy we're getting away
Yeah, I
from.
think the biggest shift in 2026 is that you're not just selling like one product, you're really building a world where people kind of want to stay and hang out with you. And how can you serve them through the multiple different aspects? So, to bring this down to like reality, I'm helping one of my clients expand her product suite right now. So, we're setting up two different offers right now. I would say she has like her core offer, which is her one-on-one coaching, nutritional coaching. It comes with labs. It's like a 5-month program. It's price pointed around probably like $10,000, which that's not a good entry level for most people. She does get people, but we could probably have a much better conversion if we had something on the front end. So what we're building out on the front end is just like, hey, we're going to do a lab panel and interpretation from you. And then if you decide you want to work with us, we can roll that into the next step. So it's really helping those people that may not be able, like, it's invested in $10,000 in somebody you just met takes a lot of trust. So giving that first layer of kind of like that strategy layer really helps. And then on the back end, what we're doing is like after she's worked with our clients and they've kind of reclaimed their health, they want to maintain their health. So we're building out a annual maintenance program where they get 2 labs a year. They get 2 calls that they can use throughout the year to kind of check in and help maintain the work that they've done. And that's really how like she's building a world where people are not just saying yes to her once, she's able to continue to serve them. And that's going to create that higher lifetime customer value, which is going to have such a greater impact on your business because it's so much easier to get someone who has already purchased from you to repurchase from you than it is to go out and find that new person. So moving into prediction number 4, which we're kind of seeing this is that we're moving into lean teams and smarter systems. It's not going to be the year of like who you're hiring to do the work for you. It's really going to be about how you're doing the work. And we're going to see a lot more like lean teams and how can a small team business make serious money. I don't know if it's happened yet, but they're like, there's going to be like $1 million company that's run by like one person because of the like productivity that AI is giving you. But I think with that, like it is, you have to have AI is great, but you have to have the systems. It's only going to amplify what you already have. So if you're already a chaotic mess, it's just gonna amplify. And but believe me, because when I first got used AI, I was using it with like no strategy or like system behind it. It was just like it was just creating more chaos. And like you could get sucked down this like rabbit hole and redo your entire offer suite. But like if you have the business plan worked out, if you have the fundamental system, and then you're able to see how can I integrate AI automations into that system to reduce the workload, then you're kind of able to scale with less actual like human support. Not saying like I don't think I would ever want a team that doesn't have any human support, but you're able to work more efficiently. I think one of the and a smart way that I'm going about this right now is that I just hired a VA. And so I'm really having to do a lot of like translating like the tasks that I want to do to her into step. And then I go like have her do them and we refine them a little bit. And then I'm taking those tasks and I'm starting to automate and see where I can interject AI so that I can get more hours out of her. And it's kind of been this like really fun way to systemize each piece of my business and in a really strategic way. And like I haven't had to increase her hours because before I give her any new tasks to do, I take the tasks that she was doing and see how I can cut that down to like the least amount of like human time as possible. So it's really using AI systems and automations to amplify what you already do.
Yeah, and I will say that this takes patience, like the amount of patience that Jess has to say, like I'm bringing in somebody and we're going to like double effort the strategy, the SOPs, the execution and all of that. So like don't think that you can do offboard everybody from
Yeah.
your team because and I will like layer in just a bit of like awareness that like we get the world that we're in right now where businesses are operating at like a minimum expense level. And so like this is a benefit to that, but we had just previously said you can't like there's a lot of like human elements you can't replace. So there's a duality to embracing it and like taking it to the next level, but also maintaining that things aren't just robotic and like, anti-human in your business. So there's a need for both, and I think that the awareness of that is necessary.
Yeah, and I mean, this whole concept is really what I built. I'm building the app that we're launching Content Flow Studio about. Like my goal of this app is I'm really building it for myself. I was like, okay, I want to be able to sit down, record this podcast, and then do nothing else and have my VA be able to break it down into 30 different pieces of content for me with very little direction. And so that's what I'm building Content Flow Studio to do is like, it's not for me, it's for her to use, but I'm able to like kind of infuse. That's the good thing about AI is that you can train the AIs on your strategy. So I don't have to train her as much on strategy. I can kind of get her to just kind of do like the execution task of it.
Yeah, in reality, Jess is building this for me because I keep hounding her for SOPs and content systems. And she said, "Here, I've built you something." So yeah, so it really is it's going to be kind of coming into how big not how big your team is, but how, smart your systems are and how you're embracing these things to maintain the human elements, but also scale at a way that isn't reliant on you spending thousands of dollars on a social media person, on a website designer, on this or on that. So it's just smart strategies overall.
Yeah. Okay. So here is your homework for the week. We want you to pick one prediction that really resonated with you this week and ask yourself, are you set up for this kind of shift in 2026? So that you are go roll into prepare. I think we're going to be shifting from content soon to planning. Part of this is taking like what's going on with the world and being able to kind of mold what our plans are for next year to that.
Well, let's do a quick recap of our predictions. So, number one, the always on content era is dead. We're leaning into slower, more stable marketing strategies like email, SEO, owned platforms. Second is trust is going to matter way more than how much attention or how many eyeballs you can get. Real human content is going to be winning all across the board. Third is that businesses need to become ecosystems. They need to expand and be sticky and like really embrace your clients and your customers at all levels of the journey versus just trying to get them to spend money with you once. And then the last one is that lean teams and smarter systems are really going to beat the whole bigger is better, that scalability bubble that crashed last year where everybody ended up descaling their businesses. This is the antidote to that, which is smarter systems. So, if this episode gave you clarity on where to focus in 2026, we'd love if you would share it with someone who you think might be still stuck on that hamster wheel and who you want to nudge gently to get off.
Yep. And if you're ready to lean into prediction number 4 and build out a smart system with lean teams, we would love for you to help attack the content system, the content chaos that is happening in most of our businesses with Content Flow Studio. It is an app that we are developing that allows you to create one piece of content and repurpose it everywhere so that you're not spending your Sundays batching reels or paying a social media manager upwards of, I think I got a quote the other day for one of my clients. It was like $8,000 a month for 3 posts. I was like, "Holy no, we're gonna AI and put our own little system together for it." So if you want to work smarter and not harder as it comes to your content in 2026, go to contentflowstudio.com. Get on the wait list. We're going to be doing a founders launch very, very soon, which is also going to include a 2026 content planning strategy session with me and Rachel. So we'd love to see you there. So until next week,
We are
rooting
rooting
for
for
you.
you.
Bye.